Lesson number 2. Nutrition fundamentals. Fuel your best. Alright, so before I get into this lesson, I need you to understand something very, very important. The number one reason people get discouraged with fitness and quit is due to lack of progress is because their nutrition is not on point. You know, for example, New Year's resolutions. They join a gym, they start training, and they get discouraged and quit because they don't see results. And the reason is because their nutrition is not on point. I can almost guarantee it. So I'm here to tell you nutrition is 80% of the equation, right? You can't outrun the fork, as the saying goes. So exercise is important, but the nutrition is really what's going to make a difference of you making progress or not. So, all right, school time. Nutrition is defined as the process by which a living organism assimilates food and uses it for energy, growth, and repair of tissue. You've heard the saying, you are what you eat? Well, nutritionally, that's very true. All foods fall into one of 3 categories of macronutrients, or macros. Now, bear with me, this might be a review for some of you, but it's a good reminder, and for some of you, this is new information. So, macros. Macro means big, micro means very small, as in microscopic. There are micronutrients as well, vitamins and minerals, but right now we're going to focus on macronutrients. And like I said, all foods fall into one of 3 categories of macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates or carbs, and fats or oils. Protein. Protein is made up of amino acids, which are the building blocks of our bodies. Protein is responsible for building and repairing body tissues. Protein sources include meats, fish, cottage cheese, and egg whites. Whole eggs and cheese are also good sources of protein, but be aware they're about 50% fat. And legumes, beans, and peas are also a good source of protein, but again, beware they're about 50% carbs. Now, that's not a bad thing, it's just something to keep in consideration. Protein can also be used as a backup energy source in the body if carbs are in short supply. Next on the list is carbohydrates, which are sugars and starches. Carbs are made up of sugar molecules and are the chief energy source of the body. Simple carbs are single molecule sugars such as glucose, fructose, and sucrose. And fructose is fruit sugar found in fruits, sucrose is table sugar, and glucose is your blood sugar and is also added to some foods as a sweetener. Simple carbs digest fast and can cause spikes in blood sugar. The exception is fruits due to their high fiber content. Now, spiking your blood sugar is not a good idea. And the reason is because when your blood sugar spikes, your insulin also spikes. And insulin is what drives nutrients. It's a hormone what drives nutrients into your cells. And so what happens is this. When your blood sugar spikes, then your insulin spikes, then your blood sugar crashes, and then you have no energy and you crave more sugar. So that's a pattern we'd like to stay away from. On the other hand, complex carbohydrates are long chains of sugar molecules strung together. Complex carbs take longer to digest, so they don't spike your blood sugar so bad. They are slowly released into your blood, keeping your blood sugar levels fairly constant and providing lasting energy without the crash associated with simple carbs. Complex carb sources include grains, cereals, breads, vegetables, and legumes. Now, there are exceptions. Processed foods like white bread, some cereals, and white rice, these foods are so highly processed that processed and refined that they digest almost like sugar in your body. So you have the same thing. You have the spike in blood sugar and the spike in insulin, then you crash and burn, and then you crave more carbs. Where did I leave off here? So you really want to avoid processed carbs and sugars as much as possible. You want to stick to fruits and vegetables and whole grains like whole grain breads and crackers and brown rice, quinoa, and even popcorn. But now beware of over buttering your popcorn, right? But popcorn in and of itself is a very healthy whole grain. Fiber is a subcategory of carbohydrates. Fiber is the part of plant-based foods that the body can't break down, and it passes through our digestive system undigested, and it actually cleans us out, right? It keeps our digestive system clean and healthy. Fiber is found in fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and Metamucil for those over 60. The last macronutrient is fats and oils. Fats are made up of fatty acids. They support cell growth and hormone production. They're carriers for fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A and D and E and K, and they're also used as energy in the body. Fats are found in avocado, butter, oils, fatty meats, and fish and cheese, which also are good protein sources. Dietary fats digest relatively slowly compared to proteins or carbs. And additionally, fats slow down the digestive process, assisting in blood sugar stabilization. Contrary to popular opinion in the 80s and 90s, eating dietary fat does not make you fat. In fact, statistically, Americans got fatter during the low-fat craze. I also want to mention water, since it makes up 60% of our bodies. Even though water has 0 calories, we couldn't live without it, right? Our brain and our heart are composed of 73% water, and the lungs are about 83% water, and even your skin is like 64% water. And the bones, you think bones are solid? They're 31% water. So very interesting. So make sure you stay hydrated. So the question is, how much protein, carbohydrates, fats, and overall calories do I need to consume each day? And of course that depends on a number of factors: age, weight, gender, activity level, and your fitness goals. So I will be answering that question in detail in the next session, Eat to Lose Weight. So your action point, I got one action point for you. Take, those of you listening online, download the Test Your Nutrition Knowledge quiz and see how much of all this fun stuff sticks in your brain. So that's it for now. I'll see you in the next lesson.